Hello everyone and welcome to our Saturday live stream. You know what? Quite a lot of things have not been going correct, not been going right. So it's quite frustrating because I gave Crowdcast the third chance and it doesn't seem like it's going to be working for us moving forward. So I was hoping that I'd use Crowdcast for our private members for Mac University. So now I think I have to move over to Demio, but it's going to be a subscription or a registration process every time you need to watch any of these workshops. So we'll see how that goes, but at least, I've tried. Right, so today we'll be talking about the Gutenberg editor, WordPress 5.0, which was released, I think it was 2 days ago. So it's quite interesting to see the shift from the old editor to now the new block-based editor. So we'll be covering that, going through all the features, how you can start using it. But to be honest, what I'm covering today is pretty much the editor. So if you're a Divi user, maybe this may not be very, very important, but it's always good to know how things are going to work moving forward. So if you use a page builder like Divi, you don't really have to worry too much because once we do the live show on Divi and Gutenberg, I'll also show you how easy it is to just switch over to the Divi builder rather than the Gutenberg editor. But it's also interesting to see how far WordPress has come and how they've managed to pull this through. I know there's quite a lot of people that think this is a bad move and some are saying it's a good move. I'd like to hear what you guys think after you see this demo that I'm going to do today as I go through this. And also, as I'm going through this demo, you can ask me questions, we can discuss things and, positive, negatives, whatever it is. And, it's just, we're just hanging out here seeing what is happening in the world of web design. Okay, I can see here quite a lot of you have joined in. Cassandra, Tim, Agante, Chris, Ahmed, Rito, Wayne. Awesome. Good to see you all. I know I've messed up the times. I was supposed to start at 6 a.m. Eastern, but I had to push it an hour and now we're starting even later. Now it's almost 12:30. But you know what? I'll just do my best. For those of you that are going to watch this at the later stage or those who have missed this, they can always watch the replay on YouTube. I'll leave this video on YouTube. Right. So before we get started, this episode is made possible by divicake.com. Check out the huge selection of themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. Right, I have a question here and Bozo, I think, says, what news? The news about Gutenberg, that Gutenberg is now out. So that's what I'm referring to. Okay, so what we'll be doing today is we'll be pretty much going through a quick overview of the editor itself, how to create a post, how to create a page, and also some of the features that we have in this Gutenberg editor. So I'll be switching between my main computer here and obviously my main screen and see how that goes. I hope this live stream is much clearer and much better than what we had on Crowdcast so that it makes it easier for everyone to see the live stream. Atul saying hello from India. Good to see you, Tim. Tim is saying some hosting websites are automatically updating to WordPress 5. Now, that is, I think, in my opinion, I think that's a bad move because it is going to break quite a lot of websites. For example, with Divi itself right now, if you update to WordPress 5 without updating Divi to the latest Divi install, you may find that some things may not work well. So most people may not know about this. So by updating automatically from the hosting side of things, that could really mess up a lot of things. And to be honest, they're not even providing backups, I assume. So you'd need to have some sort of backup system before you make any updates. And that's what I recommend for everyone watching this video. You need to make sure that you back up your computer, your website before you do any updates. Because if you just go in, you may find that a lot of things may stop working and this can cause even more problems. So back up first before you do anything, especially if you're running on a production system. Okay. I can't pronounce the name here, but good to see you all. Fantastic. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Right. Let's dive in and let's take a look at this page builder. And by the way, I'm also streaming this on Facebook. So on Facebook here, we have Pascal saying hello from Paris. Good to see you, Pascal. And guys, if you have any questions, you can ask me your questions in the comments box below. But of course, I don't know everything right now about the Gutenberg editor, but I think I've played it around with it enough to know quite a bit about how it works. Okay, let's dive in. Let's take a look at how this works. Right, so I'm going to switch over here to my computer. And let's start off with, okay, so right now we are the dashboard. So let's start with adding a brand new post because that's where all the magic is happening, the post and the pages. So I'm going to come over here to posts and then I'm going to click on add new. Right, so straight away we can see that this editor is completely changed. I mean, it looks way, way, way different. So let's give this a title. So let's call this my new post. Okay, so what else can we do after adding the title? Well, every time you want to add a piece of content, a piece of information, you need to look for this plus button. This plus button here allows you to add the blocks. So it's very, very important that you take a look at you hover over, any areas, and every time you see a plus button, that's the plus button that allows you to add more content onto your page. So let's continue and let's take a look at what blocks we have or what sort of information we can add here. So there's two areas here. There's the plus here on the top left. Hopefully you can see that. And there's also a plus button here when you hover over, on the side here. So let's add some text. So I'm going to click this plus button and it's well labeled, which is good. So we have paragraphs. I'm going to select paragraph. And then now we need to start typing. So, you know me, I don't like typing. In fact, I'm very slow at typing. So I use Lorem 2. So I'm just going to copy some text here and paste it. Okay, so that's straightforward so far. It looks pretty simple. Christine says, do I need to update to WordPress 5 when I only use Divi? Yes, absolutely. WordPress 5 is for pretty much everyone. So the reason why you would need to update to WordPress 5 is because when we get these updates from WordPress, a lot of these updates also have security updates. So don't stay with your old WordPress install. I would update to the latest WordPress and then use Divi as you would anyways. Okay, so it's very important you update. But what I'm saying right now is wait, don't update yet until everything is stable. From Divi, it seems like everything is going to work perfectly if you update to the latest Divi install. So make sure you update Divi first and then you update WordPress 5. So it's very important you do it in that order, okay? Let's see if we have any questions. Monique, good to see you. I know I've messed up the time. We've tried to set up this stream, but you know what, things weren't working well. So sorry if I've inconvenienced anyone who normally comes in at 6 a.m. Eastern. Right. Okay, so let's continue here. Right, so I've created my title here and my text in my post. Now, what else can we add? Okay, so if you're creating a post, maybe you want to add an image. So let's add an image here. So again, to add an image, you hover over this area here. If you don't see the plus button here, you just come over here to the top, click this plus button, and then select image, okay? And then whatever you add from the top here is added right below whatever content it is that you have here, which is, I think, fantastic. Right, so now it's time to upload our image. So I'm gonna click here on upload. So I'm gonna go to my downloads folder. So that's where we have all our images. So I'm just gonna go with, let's see. Okay, let's go with this one here. Okay, so I'm going to go with this image. So that's it. That's how you add your image. So what you can also do is over here, you can do a quick preview. Okay, so let's do a quick preview. So it opens the preview in a new tab, and you can see here that everything looks pretty much okay. Now, the one thing that I really like about this new editor is we can add columns now. So if I click here on add block and I scroll down, we have more items that we can add here. So we have layout elements, and then we can go to columns. So pretty much I think this is going towards how page builders actually work, and I'll tell you why I think that. Okay, so now that I have my columns here, I can start adding my content. So again, I'm going to come over here to Lorem 2. I'm going to copy my text there, and then I'm going to paste it in place just like that. And then over here, I want to do something different. So if you have a blog, ideally you want to add the ability to grow your mailing list. I know last week we did a ConvertKit tutorial where I showed you how to apply a lead generator to your website. So I'm going to do the same thing here within the actual post. So what I'm going to do while I'm off screen here is I am going to go to ConvertKit. Now the reason why I'm doing this off screen is because I don't want to show all of my subscribers' email on a live stream, because I don't think that's a good thing to do anyways. Right, so I'm just going to go to my forms, and then I'll just show you where I copy the code from. Right. Okay, so now I can switch over to my screen so I can show you where everything is. So if I come over here now, this is my form. And then what I could do is I can come here and change my templates. And this time I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm going to choose this. So this is just a join the newsletter, blah, 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 blah. Now let's embed it. So there's two ways to embed this. You can embed it via JavaScript or HTML. So I'm going to go with HTML here. I'm going to copy all this code here. Of course, you don't have to make sense of this, but I've just copied that back over here. Now I'm going to go into this block and add my block. So since this is HTML, I'm going to add my HTML block. Now what you could also do here, you can actually search if you know what you're searching for. Okay, so as you start typing here, it will come up and you can just go ahead and select it. And then I'm going to paste it here. Now it looks all like, messed up, but trust me, when I do the preview, it will look much better. So this is the HTML code. And then if I click on preview, it actually shows you what it's going to look like. So I really, really like that. I think that's a really good feature. So if you want to come here, maybe customize some HTML, you could just go in there, do your HTML stuff, and then the preview is right there. So I think this is a really, really, really cool feature. I didn't even know that this existed, to be honest. Right. So now that we have this, what else can we do? We need to put this in position. We want this next to this text over here. So now let's drag and drop it. So you can see here, I've actually just dragged and dropped it into position. Okay. So this is pretty much like how these page builders out there work. So now that I have it in position, I'm just going to hit publish. I'm going to publish this post, and then I am going to view it in a new tab and see what it looks like. There you go. I think this is really neat. You can see here our text, our columns is working fine. So that looks really nice. Okay, now let's go back in and let's see what other options we have with text. Now, before I continue, I can see here that I have a question or a comment on the screen. Backstage Story TV says, nice to join the room. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Cassandra says, why is it called WordPress Gutenberg? Is there a difference from just WordPress? Okay. The core itself is WordPress. The Gutenberg is actually the editor. Okay. So before we had WordPress, that's just like the name, it's WordPress, but they're distinguishing what version it is by naming the actual builder. So the builder is what is called Gutenberg. So that's why you hear WordPress Gutenberg. But the version of WordPress is actually WordPress 5.0. So I think moving forward, the naming structure of it is just going to be WordPress 5 or WordPress 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going forward. Because right now it's just the initial stage, I think, and that is why the word Gutenberg is being used. But the Gutenberg is pretty much the editor. So as you can see from what I'm just showing you right now, this is totally way different to how WordPress worked before. And I'm sure you can agree with me. So this, what I'm showing you right now and how it works, this is the Gutenberg editor. So that's why you're hearing the word Gutenberg, Gutenberg all over the place. I hope that answers that. Okay, right, so back over here. So let's see what else we can do. So in regards to text, let me add another block here. So this time I'm going to add the block by clicking this plus button just above this paragraph like that. And I'm also going to add, in fact, this time let's do something different. Let's add a video, okay? Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my YouTube channel. Right, I'm going to go to my YouTube channel here. So all I'm going to do is to just copy the code and paste it. Right, let's see what video I can use here. And again, the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want to make sure that my private information here is not shown on the live show. So all I'm doing here is just choosing a video that I need to add. Right, I think I found one. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to copy the link. So let's go back to my screen. Right, so I've just copied my link. So I'm going to paste my URL in here and then click embed. So this is the video I did yesterday. Okay, so let's do a quick preview. I'm going to click update and then I'm just going to refresh the page and let's see what it looks like. Great, so I think that looks really nice. In terms of the layout, we have our opt-in form over here, we have our video and our description. Right, so this is how you can start putting together all your pages. Right, so let's work on, let's say you want to add a hyperlink and you want to change colors and so on. How would you do that? Let me show you how. If I come back over here, let's say you want to make some text bold, all you have to do is to highlight the text just like that. And you notice that now we have these options here on the top. So you can go ahead now and make it bold, just like that. It's as simple as that. Now, let's say you want to add a hyperlink. So this time, let's add the hyperlink here on the bottom. So all you have to do is to highlight the text you need to make the, which you need to link to. Click here on this chain icon and then paste your URL. So I'm going to add my URL here and the URL is going to be to my YouTube video. Click apply. So now if I click this, it's going to take me to my YouTube video. So let's see if that works. I'm going to click update. And then over here, I'm just going to refresh this. And you can see here that this text is now bold. And if I scroll down here, if I click this link, it takes me here to my YouTube channel, to my YouTube video. So that is working fine. Excellent. Right, let's see what else we can do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here to the top, click on add block. And this time, let's see what we can add. Let's come over here to formatting and we can add a verse, custom HTML. We've done that. We can also add code. We can also add tables and a pull quote. Right, so let's add this. I'm going to click here. I'm going to add my citation here. So again, I'm going to use lorem text. Copy that. Back over here. Paste it in here. Okay, so that looks really, really, really nice. And if you want to customize this, you can always customize it by looking over here to the right. So this is where you can get to see your styles. So you can add a solid color just like that. And that's how your pull quote would look like. or if you want to have it as a regular, you can just have it regular like that. Okay, so this is how you can start building your page. We have a question here or a comment from Ohis. Yes, Ohis, you got a very, you say here you've updated your production websites to WordPress 5. No issues yet, but couldn't see the page builder immediately. And this is what I'm talking about. So you have to be very careful when you do your updates. And this is why I was saying, if you use WordPress, make sure you update WordPress to the latest. I mean, if you use Divi, make sure you update Divi to the latest install, and then update your WordPress install. Okay, so do it in that order. First update Divi and then update WordPress. So I don't know what is happening with any other page builders out there. I have no idea, but the rule of thumb is just make a backup first and then do your update. And also, I'd also like to mention that all our websites are going to be different. You may be running a membership website. Someone else could be running an e-learning website, an e-commerce website. So we don't know what effects this WordPress 5 is going to have on those type of websites. So this is why it's important to really update. But if you're running a basic website, like a bare bones basic website, then of course, you can always update, no problem. Right, I'm just taking a look here and just making sure. We've got quite a lot of you tuning in today. That is really, really awesome. I guess everyone wants to know what is happening here with Gutenberg. All right. And guys, can you do me a favor as well? Can you share this video on social media to anyone you might think might be interested in this? Because we're going to do an extensive workshop here where we cover Gutenberg. So I'd really appreciate it if you can do that for me. Right. Here on Facebook, we also have Nikki and Jeremy. Awesome. Right. Now I'm going to switch back over here to my computer and let's see what else we can do. Right. So we've done this. We've added this pull quote, which looks great. And as I mentioned, you can also change the style over here and add a solid color. Now, if you want to change this color itself, all you have to do is to come over here to the color options. So you can change the color just by doing that. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so as you can see here, our post, we're really building all this content on our post and it's looking great. Now let's add more things. So I'm going to come back over here, click this plus button, and this time I want to add a divider. Okay, so I'm not sure what it's called, so I'm just going to search here. Oh, it's called a separator. So I'm surprised because I've just typed in divider, div for divider, and it's showing me separator. So I think what WordPress has done is taking those commonly used words and just match them with the blocks that they have on their system, which is, I think, really cool. So I'm going to add my divider there. So let's say you want to delete your blocks. Now, that's quite simple. All you have to do is to hover over it just to make sure that it's the right one that you want to delete. Click on it. And then you'll notice that on each and every block, you have this top panel here, which has these extra buttons. So where you want to go is here where it says more options. You click on it and then it shows you obviously more options, and then click remove block. So that gets rid of it. Okay. So now I've just added this divider here. So let's add something else. I'm going to click this plus button. So this time I'm going to add, let's see what we can add. Let's add a gallery. Okay. So I'm going to, I can't see it over here it is. I'm going to select it, click upload. So now we're going to add our images for our gallery. So I'm going to start off here with these three. No, in fact, let me just use these ones here. So right now I'm holding down my command key and selecting all of them. Click open. And straight away, my gallery has been added onto my page. Now, look how beautiful this is. The layout looks really, really nice. And there's something else that you can do here, which is really cool. And that is you can change the columns by just clicking here. And now I've added 4 columns. And now you can see that it has changed the gallery layout. I really like this layout. I think it looks really nice. And if you want to add more, you can add 5 there, and then everything is on the same line. But I think I'm going to go with 4. Click update. Fantastic. Right, so this is our gallery now. I'm going to click here on preview. Oh, in fact, click update. I think there's auto update as well as a feature. Right, so now I'm going to refresh my page. And now we can see that we now have added our gallery. And this is looking cool. And people can always come over here and add their comments and so on. So for people that don't use a page builder, I think this is a much better improvement as compared to what we had before. Victor says, thank you, Mac, for all your videos. You're welcome. I really appreciate it. I'm glad, you're learning a lot from these videos too. Wasim says, do you plan to show Gutenberg with Divi? Absolutely. Absolutely. I am going to do Divi and Gutenberg. So keep an eye on that. Make sure, in fact, for all you guys that are on this channel right now, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. It's important that you do that because it looks like all our live streams are going to be here on YouTube now. Right. Right. So I'm interested to know what you guys think. You know how the old WordPress worked. How do you think, what do you think about this new WordPress? If you think this was really awesome, or this is much better, just say, let's use numbers. Add a 1 in the comments box. If you think this new editor here is way much better than the old one, please add 1 in the comments box. If you think this is not good and it's pointless, you don't like it, add a 0. Let me just see what you guys think. Okay, we have a 1 from Agante. Okay, come on, guys. Come on, add your vote in there. Add your vote in the stream. Oh, he says 1 all the way. I'm seeing a lot of 1s, by the way. Awesome. Rito, Wayne, we have a 1. Victor, 1. CP Bunch, 1 as well. Awesome. Okay. Come on, there's 27 of you watching this live stream. Come on, let's add. Let's see your vote. Let's see your vote. Are there any zeros? Anyone that doesn't like this? Yusuf has a 0. Interesting. Okay. Okay, we have a question here from Ahmed saying, are Gutenberg blocks responsive? Absolutely, they are, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, looks like we have a lot of 1s. We also have 1 from Ahmed, Monique, Valiway, Girish. Okay, we have 2 zeros, Yusuf and Girish. I wonder what the problem is there. So guys, take your time out and please let me know why you don't like this new editor. Please let me know in the comments box. Okay, so we're going to continue here. And the next thing I'm going to show is if this is responsive. Okay, so there's a quick way I do this. So let me just show you how I do that. I just right click on this page, click inspect. And then what I do is I just come over here and click on this. Okay, this doesn't seem to work. I guess maybe it's because it's the preview. I'm not sure. Right, so this is not rendering correctly. So I guess what I have to do is to just drag the page the old school way. Okay, so let's see how that works. So I'm going to drag this like that. And as you can see here, I hope you can see it clearly. In fact, let me close this because this is in our way. Right, so I've just dragged my browser all the way down and you can see here that it's 100% responsive and it is very, very clean. Okay, so it is responsive. So that's really, really awesome. Okay. Monique says, what about widgets? Yes, we can add widgets as well. Let's do that. Right, so over here. Oh, by the way, here on our gallery, you can also add more images to this current gallery. So let's say you want to add one more. You can just click this plus button here. And let's see. Okay, let's add this guy here. Click open. And now it's added. And then the gallery reconfigures itself. And you can also come over here and change the columns as well. So now you can see we have 3 columns. Okay, cool. So let's move on. Let's add a widget. So I'm going to click this plus button here. I'm going to search for it. Okay, these are the widgets, sorry. Right, so with these widgets, you can add archives, shortcodes, and latest posts. So because I don't have a lot of content here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and add latest posts and see what shows here. I'm going to add it. Oh yes, and it works. You can see here, my new post is there, post 1 and hello world. So widgets actually work. So this looks really, really cool. Right. I also have a question here from Rito, and Rito says, can you show the post page in full width? Okay, I am going to be addressing this because this theme that we have here is not very flexible. Okay, and I will be explaining why right now. So I will address this question here towards the end of this workshop, but that is not possible. Okay, and I'll tell you why and other ways to get around that. Okay. Right, so we can add widgets on there, and we can also create our own widgets. Maybe it could be a category widget, it could be, whatever it is, it actually shows on here really well. So widgets work, so that's good. Now, as you can see, I'm going to do a bit of a comparison here between Gutenberg and Divi. Now, in Divi, when you select sections or modules, we can actually go in and add background colors, we can add animation. That doesn't work here. This is just a plain editor, and as you can see here, if I select this gallery block, over here we don't have a lot of options. So you can see here, there's pretty much nothing that we can do. So we only have, I thought I was showing you my screen, sorry about that. Okay. So if we take a look here, we see that we don't have a lot of options. If I select this gallery option here, all we have is the ability to change the columns, and pretty much that's it. Okay. And we can crop the images, and we can choose not to crop them, but I think cropping images is better because everything becomes the same size. Okay. So that's pretty much all we have. And then you can link this to a media file, or you can attach. Okay. Now, there's a feature here which I think is really, 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 really awesome. I want to show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this widget here because I don't need that. And I'm going to show you how to delete it. So if you click on it, come over here to the 3 buttons. Oh, in fact, we have grid view. I think this is really cool. So you can actually come in here and change this to a grid view. You can change it to a full width, and you can also have it as we had it before. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Right, so let's say you want to add something for people to download, right? So let's say you want someone to download something here when they come onto your website. Right, so let's add that download option. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click here on this plus button here to add a block. And my block here is going to be, let's see what happens if I choose download. See, the moment I try to search for download, the file option comes up, and then I'm going to select that, click upload. So this now is the file that I need to add so that people can download it. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, select my PDF. So this PDF is called transaction 5. And then I'm going to change its position. Now remember, if you want to change the position of your blocks, just highlight it over here to the left and you'll see this down arrow. If you click on it, it then moves further down. Okay, so now I'm going to click update. So just by adding that block and selecting the file that you need to your visitors to download, if I refresh here, you can see here it's a nice button, and then if you click on it, straight away that file is being downloaded. So again, I think that's really, really cool. It's something that we didn't have before in the old editor, and I think this is really, really nice. It's really classy, and I like the way it looks. So as you can see here, you can make your post look, as advanced as you want it to look. So I think this is really cool. Right, I'm going to take a quick look here at the questions and see what we have. So, Girish says, so for right now, it's a 0 until Gutenberg evolves. Okay, that's fair enough. Shanur is asking about the Divi header, builder. Right, again, I don't have a date for you, but all I can say is the features will be coming out now that we have WordPress 5.0 out. It's going to be quite easy now for the team and the developers to start working on these features because it looks like everything is stable. I think this was the most important part. So now that everyone can use Divi and WordPress 5, I guess now it's time for all these features to start coming through, but I don't have a date for you. But hopefully it's going to be very, very soon. Toronto Hotspots, good to see you. Slept in. Right, awesome. Right. CP Bunch says this is much easier. Great. Valueway says video gallery. No, we don't have a video gallery yet. We can only add one video in there. Claudio also says hi, good to see you. Shano says, what happened to the backend builder with Gutenberg? Right, there's a new builder in the latest update. So I will leave a link below so you can go and check out that post which was released regarding the builder. Ahmed here says, what about the sidebar? Right, so far as I've been using this, I haven't seen the option for the sidebar, which is a bit strange. So I guess maybe WordPress is taking this approach just to design your posts and pages without having a sidebar. So I mean, it's strange, but I don't see a sidebar option over here. Okay, right, so I guess you want to see more. Hey, Renee, good to see you. Good to see you. Awesome. Cassandra, I thought I responded to your email, to be honest. Okay, do me a favor while you're actually on the stream, right? Because I thought I'd addressed all the queries that we had regarding the Mac University. So please, right now, while you're on the stream, can you go to macuniversity.com? On the bottom right-hand corner, please leave me a message in there and just remind me about what issues that you're having, and then I'll address it straight away. It could have been that I know we spoke about it last week, but because I didn't have it, I was looking for an email or some sort of a message, but I don't think I came across that, and that is why I probably missed that. So I'm really sorry about that, but please leave me a message on macuniversity.com on the chat. Right, okay. Let me show you more stuff that you can do here. So far, this is pretty much the post. That's what it looks like. In terms of laying out the content, I think this is fantastic. Right, so what about pages? How then do we customize our pages and design them? So I'm going to go back over here. So I think we've done pretty much enough here. In fact, let me just summarize what's happening here on the right. So before in our old editor, all the options that we had were below the actual post, if you recall, right? This time, everything is over here on the right, which is quite interesting. So let's go through all this list and so that you can see all the options we have. So first of all, we have revisions. So you can come over here to your revisions and see where the last item, or you can cycle through your last revision. But to be honest, I don't really like this because all this is in code. So I can't visually see what was the last time, what the last item was that I edited. So I guess it's showing me here, but you know what? Let's go back to the editor. There's nothing much we can say there. Right. Permalink, I don't really use that. You just need to set them once on your system, and then that's it. Over here, this is where you add your categories. So if you want to add your category, you can just add it here and just say tutorials, for example. and then add new category, and then you can add your post to the actual category that you want. Oh, that's a wrong spelling. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, so that's your categories. And then over here, you can still add tags if you want to. And then here, you can add your featured image. Now, let me show you what happens when you add a featured image. So I'm going to come over here, set my featured image. So I'm going to select this one here as my featured image and then click on select. Right. So what you're about to see is what happens when you add a featured image. So I think this is really cool. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click here on update. And then I'm going to come over here to my post and just refresh it. Look at that. Now, isn't that cool? So now our featured image has now covered the whole screen. And now we have the title of our post in white and obviously this information here. And they can also leave a comment by coming over here. Okay. But this is the change that happens when you add that featured image. And then when you scroll down here, we still have our content in place, just like that. So I think this is really cool, and I'm sure as time goes on, this is going to develop into something even much easier to customize, because right now with this color here that we have, we can't go in and change the overlay color. So what you see here is pretty much what we have, and that's it. Right? Okay, so let me just clean this up a little bit. I'm just going to delete this. So again, I'm going to come here to these three buttons and delete the block. Okay, so what else can we do in regards to the text that we have here? So with the text, you can also add a background to the text. So let me do it over here on the bottom. So I'm going to select this block, and then over here, I'm going to come to my color settings and add my color. So I can pretty much cycle through here and choose the color that I want to add. So I'm going to go with that. And that's pretty much what we have for this option. And if I come over here on these three little dots here, we can see that we can duplicate this. We can edit as HTML, and we can add it to a reusable block. So this is actually quite cool, because if there is specific blocks that you use in your design, you can always add it here so that it's easier for you to add it as you create your post. But my rule of thumb here is when you create these pages, these posts, don't make them too complicated, because you want to have them to have the same sort of like consistency as you're building this. Okay. And then here we also have columns, so we can start adjusting our columns by clicking here on these columns. So let's see what else we can have here. We can actually link this whole thing now that I've given it a color. So I think that's really cool. And for those of you that use CSS, you can always come here to additional CSS and add your classes and make your further customizations. And then over here, we also have our font. You can change the size to large, small. So perhaps I'll just leave it as small for now. Okay, let's click update. So let's say you want to get rid of your featured image. You can just come here and just click on remove featured image, click update, and then your layout just goes back to normal as it was before. Okay, just like that. And there's our blocks. Right, so let's move on. So any questions so far, or any comments regarding what you've seen so far? So yeah, the featured image allows you to, so the featured image just allows you to have the image going across. But here's another thing. And Rito, I think what you're asking here is, can we make this image full width? And yes, we can. Let me show you how quickly. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to select my image. And to make it full width, all you have to do is to click this little button here, and that makes it full width. But as I mentioned before, we don't have options here to play around with the color overlay. All we just have is just, make it full width, and that's it. Now let's take a look at how that page looks. So if I come over here and refresh this, now this is full width. Okay. So this could be an option that you may want to go with, but this is just making the image full width, whereas the featured image will really cover the top here so that you don't have any white over here on the top. All right, so this is how you put together your post, but this process is the same for pages as well. So I'm going to switch over here and let's start working on our pages. Right, so I'm going to click this plus button here and click on page. So let's just call this page. Okay, let's call this Mac page, right? And as before, you'll notice that all we have to do is to hover over here to start adding all our content. So maybe I want to start with an image. As we did before, I'm going to click here on media library because we have quite a lot of images now in our media library. So I'm going to go with, okay, let's go with this one here. I'm going to select it. So now I have my image. And we can also add a caption over here. So I'm just going to say my bike as my caption. I can make it bold. I can link it. I can do that sort of stuff. Okay. Right. So what we also have here, when we click this image, as I've shown you before, the settings here are pretty much the same. We can set it here as a large image, full size, and so on. So right now it's full size, but you have to be careful now. When you select full size, you want to make sure that your images are optimized. Otherwise, your website is going to run really, really slow. Okay, so now that I have this, you can continue adding your content. I'm going to click here on this plus button. This time, I'm going to add, let's say, let's add a paragraph. I'm going to add my text in there. I'm going to paste it. Okay, so it's pretty much what I've been showing you before, and let's just try and cover some of these blocks that we haven't covered before. So we also have inline elements, so we can add an image inline as well. So let's add this bike here inline, see what that looks like. So you can see here that I've just added that inline, and that's what it looks like. Let's preview this and see what that. Now that doesn't look really nice, to be honest. So I guess they have to do something with this inline thing because that doesn't look really nice. So I'm going to do a shortcut here, which is Command Z to undo. So I've just done it twice and then it has undone that. Okay. Right. So moving on, let's see what other blocks we can add here. So we also have layout elements. We have a spacer here as well. So let's say you want to add space. You can always add your spacer there. And when you click on it, pretty much, there's nothing much you can add in there apart from the height over here. Okay, so let's say you want the height to be 30. So that's your spacer over there. Now I'm going to add some more content. So this time I'm going to add, let's see what we can add here. Okay, let's add Twitter. Let's see what Twitter looks like. So I'm going to come over here to my Twitter. In fact, let me come over here to my YouTube since I have this open. So I'm going to delete this. In fact, I'm going to delete this. And let me add the YouTube one, paste my link in there. So now we have our spacer here, and this is applied space between my paragraph here and this space, which is really, really cool. Okay. And what I could also do here is this video can be also made full width, which is really cool. I want to save this and let's take a look at what it looks like now. Okay, so I've just published the page. I'm going to click now on view page and I'm going to view this in a new tab as well. So if I scroll down, now my video really covers the whole width. I don't know why you would want to do that. Personally, I wouldn't do that, to be honest, but the option is there for you. Okay, so I'm just going to come back here and just align this. You can also have it in such a way that it's over here to the left, or you can center it and it can be also aligned to the right like that. Okay. Okay, so it's looking good. And as I mentioned, we're just going to go through here and see what else we can add. We also have layout elements. We can do a page break. We can add a button. We can add media and text. And we can have an more option. We've done the columns already. So let's take a look at the button because I haven't really seen how the button works. So I'm going to come over here. So we can add our text to the button, which I think is really cool. So let's call this visit my YouTube channel like that. So with that selected, we can paste the URL in here. Right, so if I click update, will that URL show or does the URL go into the actual button? Let's see that. I'll refresh. Okay, so the URL just shows you, but it's the URL is actually in the button. So if I click here, it now takes me to my video, which is cool. Right, so I really like that, and I really like the button. I know we don't have a lot of options, but you know, for someone who's pretty much designing a basic website out there, I think they'll appreciate the simplicity and the cleanness of this layout. So far, I would say in terms of laying out your content as compared to how it used to be before, this is way, way much better. I definitely like this. Of course, this is the initial release of this Gutenberg builder. I'm sure in the upcoming months, even years, this is going to evolve into something really, really powerful. Now, the question is, will this be better than page builders, or does WordPress now want to take over page builders? In my opinion, no, because page builders right now are really, really advanced. Even if you take the basic page builder out there, they are so advanced that it will take WordPress so many years to really catch up with that. And page builders have more they can offer in terms of support, in terms of layouts, there's a lot of things. I mean, for you guys that use Divi or even Elementor or any other page builder, you know that there's a lot that you can do with these basic settings. But they are actually giving support for page builders, which I don't think is a way of taking over page builders, because they are providing support. Because right now, Divi is now working fine with this new latest update, and they're also allowing developers to develop blocks that can actually work with this layout. So which I think is positive. So it's definitely looking much better, and time will tell exactly how and where WordPress will go. But as I mentioned, the current page builders that we have right now are really powerful, and I don't see WordPress catching up anytime soon. Right, we have a bunch of comments here. Let's see. Valuate says, in terms of how SEO stands, well, SEO, all you need is the plugin, Yoast SEO or SEO Press. You install it, it's going to work fine. In fact, you know what? While we're on this live stream, we might as well do that. Let's download the SEO plugin and let's see how it works. Right, so I'm going to come over here and let's save this page for now. I don't think there's anything more I can show you here because I've covered most of the things while I was showing you the blocks when we were doing the post. So in fact, one more time, let's just take a quick look here and see if there's anything else we can take a look at. So embeds, we can embed SoundCloud, Spotify, WordPress, Instagram, Facebook, and so on, Vimeo as well. There's more here. We also have, wow, there's quite a lot. I didn't even realize this. So we have TED, Tumblr, WordPress, VideoPress, Speaker Deck. I've never even heard of that. SlideShare. Wow. So this is really, 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 really good. So the embeds, there's a lot of things to embed here. On the widgets, we have categories, latest comments, shortcode, archives. So if you want to build an archive page, it's very easy to do that. You can just build your page and then you can just add your archive in there, which I think is really cool. For the formatting, we also have the verse, classic, pre-formatted, table, code, pull quote, HTML, which is cool. The blocks, we've been through this already. You can actually add an audio block here, cover. So let's add this cover because I haven't used this one here. So I'm going to come over here to upload. Oh, in fact, I don't need to go to upload because we have images in our media library. So let's see how that cover works. So I'm going to drag this to the top. So you can see here, I'm just clicking here on this little up arrow. Right, so this is really cool. So this could be the cover for our page. And this time on this one here, we have the background opacity. So we can play around with the opacity here. You can see here as I'm dragging the slider. It's looking really fine. Right, I see a question here, and let me see if I can address this. Seashore. Right, Seashore here saying I'm confused when or if to use Gutenberg. Right. The purpose of this live stream is just to show you the changes that WordPress has made to the page, to their editor. And this is the Gutenberg editor. Now, when it comes to those of you that use Divi, of course, this Gutenberg editor is very, very limited. It's not even close to what you can do with Divi. So there's no need for you to flip back to this editor to replace Divi, because Divi has a lot more options, way, way, way more options. So I'm just doing a demo here just to show you what WordPress has updated, the direction they're taking with their editor. And for those of you that haven't even started using page builders yet, these are the possibilities that you have when it comes to creating your pages. But of course, if you're Divi, you are miles ahead. In fact, if you wanted to compare the Gutenberg editor and Divi, Divi is like a Ferrari and this is like maybe a BMW. Okay, so the Gutenberg editor, all it has done is it's just updated from perhaps maybe a Vauxhall to a BMW, which is obviously a massive leap. But Divi is on its own league, you know, those are the supercars right there, you know, so you can't compare the two. So to answer your question simply is, don't use this editor. You don't need to use that, okay? What we need is to continue using Divi, but in terms of posts, you can always go in there and maybe add your basic posts, but you stylize it and customize it using Divi, okay? Okay, so Cassandra, I just saw your message here. Thanks a lot for that. I'll respond to that as soon as possible. Right, Seashore, I hope I've responded to your question there. Yes, Toronto hotspots, I agree. For anyone who's just getting started there, they can just use this for a basic layout. Remember, there are people out there that don't want all the bells and whistles of a supercar, you know? They just want to move from point A to point B. So this builder here, or this editor, is pretty much good for point A to point B, okay? But if you want to design crazy looking, beautiful looking websites, then definitely you have to go with Divi. But I agree with Toronto Hotspots. This will be a very good starting point for anyone who wants to build a basic website, because there are people out there that just want to write content. So this here will give them a lot of options. Okay. He's saying here, Ohis, do you use Divi or another page builder? Please let me know and I can try and help you with that. Claudio says it'll be really cool to know what's next on the Divi pipeline? Well, what's next on the Divi pipeline? I can tell you right away. 2 days ago, or was it 3 days ago, the backend builder has been updated. So that's a major shift to the old backend builder. Now, when you edit your page, what you're seeing on your actual page as you're editing is how it would look like in when the page has been exported. So again, that's a pixel for pixel accuracy when it comes to designing with Divi. So that has been a major update, and that happened about 2 days ago. So if you haven't seen that, there's a video on the Elegant Themes blog post. Go and check it out. It's a massive update. In fact, I'll be doing a video about that as well. So take a look at that. So that's a major update. And then coming up is going to be the theme builder, the header footer, and all these other, cool stuff that we can add to, our websites to make us, design awesome looking websites. So there's a lot, coming up in the Divi pipeline. Right. He's saying, I don't use Divi, I use other page builders. If you use other page builders, what you need to do is to go to those page builders, go into their forums, contact them and see if they can help you. Because over here on this channel, we mainly focus on WordPress and Divi. So I'm sorry I can't help you with that. So you need to go to their support and see how it works. Now, this is again a clear, example of updating to the latest WordPress. So this is what I was saying. The most important thing is make a backup first, or find out from your plugins or theme developers, and see if it's compatible with WordPress 5. But I may have a solution for you, because towards the end I'll be talking about how you can turn things around if things go bad. So hang in there and I'll show you. Wasim, you're trying to put me on the spot. My honest opinions between Elementor and Divi. Right, honest opinion, because that's what you asked for. My honest opinion is Divi, without a doubt. And I'm not saying this because I'm part of the content team. No, I'm saying this purely from the usability point of view. Now, to be honest, I've used Elementor, don't get me wrong, and this is why I'm able to give you this or to talk about the differences. Okay, in Elementor, for example, if you select something right on your while you're designing your page, if you select something, it doesn't automatically go to that specific thing to go and edit it. You still have, so let's say you have a title. If you click on the title, you'd expect your settings over here to reflect that item that you need to make changes to. In Elementor, it doesn't do that. You have to go in and try and find out what you're trying to edit. To me, it's a small thing, but it may seem like a small thing, but to me, it's a major thing, because I want to click on a title, and then with Divi, it shows me exactly where I need to go and make those changes. That's number one. Number two, support. Divi has very good support, and as compared to any other page builders out there, I think Divi is the best in terms of support. Number three, in terms of features, Divi Builder has way more features than the other page builders out there. In terms of working fast, the copy and paste, the shortcuts, they're more superior as compared to Elementor. Number four, when it comes to the interface, the UI, just the interface itself, Elementor looks very dated. It does the job, don't get me wrong, but it does look dated. With Divi, it looks way much better. Now, these are my opinions, by the way. So this is not a me trying to push this idea on you. This is just me. I come from a design background. So UI for me is very important. Even when it comes to something as basic as a phone. I know the Samsung phone has a better screen. It has perhaps even more features. But in terms of the UI, that's why I've stuck with the iPhone. So with me, how things look for me is very important. So the UI in Divi and how things work in Divi, to me, it's far superior than how it is on Elementor. So that's my honest opinion there. And also in terms of features, I know Divi releases way more features than any other page builder out there. So that's why I would stick with Divi. I hope that answers your question. That's the honest opinion. Okay, right. Let's take a look here. I also have a question here. I can't pronounce the name. The Oxygen Builder. To be honest, for me, if this builder is working for me, like for example, Divi, I'm anticipating more updates and all of that. I mean, there's nothing from Oxygen that I can see that is better than Divi, to be honest. It's even, I mean, Oxygen reminds me of Headway. I don't know if you guys, you know, like before these page builders became popular, there was a builder called Headway. It used to give you the ability to go in and customize every single item on your page. For me, that's advanced. That will be for advanced users. So what works for me is, you know, Divi, simple, and it just works fine. And the features that are coming out there, it really solve a lot of the issues solves a lot of the problems that people are asking for. So that's why I would stick with Divi. Okay, so Oxygen is good. I mean, they have a good way. They are heading in the right direction, but I'll compare them to Divi. Right. I see a lot of LOLs here. Is there something that I said? Oh no, it's buffering. That's not good. The video problem was started when mention of Elementor. Okay, you know what? Let's stop talking about Elementor because this might start causing a lot of problems here on the stream. Right. Right, it looks like we're having an issue here with our internet. That's really bad. Right, so if everyone can hear me, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset this and try again and see if that works because it looks like I can't fix this. Okay, I was just about to okay, is it still buffering or is it still choppy? Please let me know in the comments box. If that's the case, I would need to restart this live stream again. So let me know if you can see me and if it's still buffering. Please let me know in the comments box. Okay, Ahmed here says it's now okay. There's a question here I need to respond to, and this is from Toronto Hotspots. Yes, Mac University is just not a, I was just responding in regards to the question here. So this has nothing to do with Mac University, to be honest. So this was just my own honest opinion, but if people want to know how to use it, of course, I am going to create some tutorials for it, okay? Okay, it looks like it's better now. So Toronto Hotspots, I hope that answers your question. Right, so moving on. Where was I? Okay, so let's continue here. Seashore says, I'll stick with my Ferrari. Awesome, right. Claudio says, the one good feature about Oxygen is the header builder. Yes, but then what happens if Divi releases the header builder next week? Are you going to be flipping between the two? You see, this is where now, I don't know, if you have the time to learn different builders, you know, it's all good. But as I mentioned, these headers, the theme builder, all that's going to be coming to Divi very, very soon. And judging from how Divi has implemented all these, like for example, all these features, it's done in a very, very elegant way. So that is why I'm really holding back and waiting to see how that works. Right. Okay, looks like all is good now. Let's continue. Right. So please, let's not mention that that page builder because things may start going bad again. Okay, let's not mention that page builder. Right. Okay, moving on. I've got a lot more things to show you about this Gutenberg editor, to be honest. Right. So let's take a look here. So we have this all set, and we were talking about the this cover. So with this cover, we have the ability to actually add some opacity. I don't know if you can see this clearly on the stream, but I'm just dragging this background opacity slider, so you can drag it there, and you can also add the title. So I'm just going to say my homepage like that. Click on it. Now we have more options here. We have a fixed background, and we can also have a fixed background. So that's pretty cool. And then over here, we can also make it full width, just like that. And then we can adjust this to fixed background, switch that on or off. Okay. Now over here, let's click update and let's see what this looks like. Danish, you're saying introduce yourself. Okay, I'll introduce myself. Okay, Danish, I'll introduce myself. My name is Mac. My first name is Augustine, but I just call myself Mac because my surname is way too long and Mac is easy to pronounce, but you can call me Augustine or Mac. I'm from macuniversity.com, a website that teaches how to design websites and also how to do online marketing. So pretty much we're here on our YouTube channel where I'm doing a review of the WordPress, the latest WordPress editor, which is called Gutenberg, and this has been shipped with WordPress 5. Okay, so I guess that's my introduction there. Okay, so back over here. Okay. Right, so back over here, I've just added this cover. So I want to take a look at the preview here and see what it looks like. I'm going to refresh the page, and now we can see that this cover goes across the page, and it is really cool. I'm not sure if I can go in and adjust the height as well. So if I click here on advanced, it doesn't look like I can do much here. Okay, so it's a good feature, but again, it's very basic. And I'm also looking here. There isn't much that we can do here, to be honest. Okay, so that feature is there if you need it. Now, there's also a few things that are quite interesting here when it comes to this editor. So on the top here, if you click these three little dots on the top right, you can actually go to full screen mode. Now, this allows you to continue editing, but without the distraction over here on the left, which I think is a good feature. And we can also go into spotlight mode. Now, spotlight mode, how that works is it dims everything and then highlights whatever it is that you want to make changes to. So you can see here the text now has become much easier to see. If it's the image, if I click on it, you can see now that comes in focus, and then you can go in and edit that. Okay, so those are like the little features that this builder has, which I think is really cool. Now over here, we're on the visual editor. We can also go into the code editor. So let's see how that looks. So if I come over here, this is the code editor. So for those of you that prefer editing stuff in code, you can always come in here and do your edits in code. Okay, so let's go back to our visual editor because I prefer visual. And then over here, we can manage our reusable blocks as well. And we also have keyboard shortcuts. So if I come over here, these are all the keyboard shortcuts. In fact, the ones I was using are the ones that I've been using in Divi, and surprisingly, a few of them actually work. If you do a Command C, Command V, that copies and pastes. Control Z also undoes. So it's really, really powerful. Okay, so now that I've mentioned all this, in fact, over here as well, you can allow comments on the page. I don't think we had this before, to be honest. The comments. So that's a very good addition to that. So everything else I think we've covered. So pretty much this is how the Gutenberg editor works. Now, let's talk about, in fact, this may be a solution to anyone who's having problems with their editor. So let's say you're running into problems and things are not working fine. What you can also do is you can actually install the classic editor. So let's say you don't like this. So in fact, I had a few zeros in the stream before. So let's say you don't like this editor at all. You want to upgrade to WordPress 5, but you don't like the editor. There's a way out. What you can do is to come over here to plugins, click on add new. So I'll leave the page. And then you search for the classic editor, but of course it's right here because I get it so popular. In fact, 700,000 people have actually downloaded it. So if you click on install now, this will remove the Gutenberg editor right away. So I'm going to click here on activate. Okay, so now when I go to my pages, in fact, I can come to this page, click on edit. In fact, let me refresh this. All right, let me start a new page. Right, so do you notice that now that editor is completely gone? The new Gutenberg editor is gone just by installing the classic editor. So this is something that you can do quickly if you're having conflicts with other plugins on your website and things are not working well. You can just go in and fix it. So now, let's call this my page 2, okay? So this is the old way of doing things. You can see here, there's no blocks. It looks so basic that it's actually crazy that we actually had the old editor, to be honest. Right, let's say I want to add some text. I'll just copy here and I'm gonna paste it. Now we don't have columns. We can't do pretty much, anything, all right? But I've just noticed something here. It says switch to block editor, okay? So even though I've disabled it, you can actually come in here and switch. Now I'm back to the block editor. And then I can also go back to the classic editor. Boom, just like that. Okay, so make sure you install that plugin and that should work really well for you, okay? Right, I've got some comments here. Let's see, Claudio. I would, Claudio, why don't you, if you if you have time, if you can just give me about a day or two, because I'm working on Divi and Gutenberg, the Divi and Gutenberg video. So if you can give me some time, because right now I'm really reluctant to say do this or do that in regards to that, because I haven't tested anything. So I would prefer to really test things out and make sure they're working, because otherwise I don't want to give you wrong information and then that messes up your installation. So if you really want to go ahead and do it, I mean, you can go ahead and install the WordPress 5, and then when things go wrong and you still have access to WordPress, you can go in and install the classic editor and then just switch between the two. But I am going to be doing a video which is going to show you exactly how to do that. Okay. Wasim says, I'm new to Divi and I have a question which doesn't relate to... the answer to you, Wasim, is yes, you have the ability to make customizations to those pages in e-commerce, but it doesn't give you full access to make those customizations. Again, this is a feature that's going to be coming to Divi. Okay, that feature is going to be coming very, very soon. But yes, currently there are areas where you can go in and use the Divi builder. Oh, I hadn't seen that comment from Rito saying Augustine is a nice and cool name. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right. Okay. So that is how you switch between the classic builder and the new builder. Okay. So the option is just right here on the bottom. Right. So if we go to the block editor, the question is, what happens when you add SEO plugins? Now, some of these plugins, they do really work well because all the features are added and you can still do your SEO. I guess Yoast SEO and SEO Press, those companies were working behind the scenes to make sure that this update would work well with Gutenberg. So that works fine. If you have any SEO plugins, that's okay. Now, let's talk about something that I think is very, very important here. So I'm just going to go here to my site. And as you can see, there's really nothing much we can do to change my header here and my footer. All those customizations are quite difficult to achieve using the free theme that comes with WordPress. So there is a way around this, and it's by adding a theme called Astra. And I'm just going to show you quickly here what I managed to do with Astra. So here we go. I've managed to add this header area here, the background. I've managed to add this logo, and there's also an option here to add a button over here to the top, and then here we have our links as well. We also have the ability to customize our fonts, and this all comes in with the actual theme. So I think this is really, really powerful if you really want to customize your WordPress website. And as you can see here, you can go into the footer. You also have widgets that you can add to the footer as well. So it's quite powerful to use a separate theme. But like I said, for all you guys that use Divi, you already have a Ferrari, so you don't need to worry about all of this. So the point of this editor is just to give you an idea of what is happening out there in the world of WordPress, what this builder is about, and how it works, and how it integrates with Divi and also other plugins. So I will be doing another extensive video showing you how this works with Divi. So keep an eye on that. If you're on the mailing list, I will email you. I will send an email out letting you know that that is out. Right. Let's take a look here. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so what we're going to do now is we have a question here on YouTube. Daryl from Tony saying, "Hi Mac, YouTuber Daryl reckons it's best to hold off installing as there are problems, not just with Divi but other page builders too." Right. My response to that is, this is what I also mentioned in the beginning, that if you really want to jump in and use WordPress 5, there's two things that you have to have in place. First of all, make sure that you do a backup of your system, test it out and see if it works. It could be that you're holding off, but actually there are no problems. So it just depends on your system or how you've set up your website. So some people are using e-commerce with on their website. Some people are running their website as a membership website. Some people are running it as a basic blog. Some people are running it as a learning platform. So the person that's running their website as a blog, running Divi, may not experience any problems. But if you're running, let's say, a membership website with Divi, these plugins now like MemberPress may have issues. I'm not saying there are issues, they may have issues. So the best way forward is perhaps making sure that you have a staging site. So some hosting companies have a staging site, like for example, WP Engine has a staging site and Flywheel. So if you can pull your website to a staging site, upload it and everything works fine, and then just push that to your production site, that should work fine. And also, if you have the ability to do a very good back up your website, update if you want to see if anything breaks, and then go ahead and do that. If nothing breaks, then keep that going. But there are notes. I mean, I can't say specifically that these type of websites are causing issues specifically with Gutenberg, because I can see some are working quite well. I mean, I've tried it myself. It's working fine on my website, but this may not be the same case for everyone, because everyone has a different way of setting up their WordPress website. So yes, Daryl is correct in saying that, but I would say if you're really eager to see how things work and you really want to be on the cutting edge, there are precautions that you can take. And also the third one, so the first one is make sure you have a backup and then try and update. Second one is if you have the ability to have a staging site, add your website to your current website to a staging site, test things there. If things are working fine, push it to the production site. Number three, you have the classic editor. If you try WordPress 5 and it breaks things, just install the classic editor plugin, and that should revert back to how things were before. But this time now you have WordPress 5 working, because remember, the Gutenberg is just the editor. It's not the whole of WordPress. It's just the editor that we're talking about here, okay? So you can still have WordPress 5 and run your website without actually having the Gutenberg editor, as I've just shown you using this plugin. So there are precautions to take. I wouldn't just go in and just update for the sake of updating. And yes, there are issues that some websites might have depending on how you've customized your website and what plugins you're running. But if you take these three precautions, you should be good to go, to be honest, okay? Because if something goes wrong while you have your backup, then just revert to your old to your working backup and you're back to square one. Builder, just install the classic editor plugin, and that should make things work again. I hope that answers that. Right, let's take a look here. Toronto Hotspot says, let's all hit the like button. Yes, I would appreciate that. Why not? Come on, guys. Let's hit the like button. Let's make our page, let's make our video go viral. Ahmed has already done that. Awesome, great. Right. I think we covered pretty much everything now. So the Gutenberg editor, thank you very much for your comments. And also, if you haven't joined the Mac University yet, this is a platform which is going to teach you how to design websites and also how to create your websites in such a way that it's designed for marketing and also lead generation. Okay, so the links to that are in the description below. So I'd like to say to everyone who's in the live show today, thank you very much for watching. I will be giving you guys an update for all you Mac University members. I'm still working on a solution. So definitely, as of today, I think Crowdcast is not going to work for us. So I'm going to cancel that subscription. I'm going to try Demio and see how that works for us. All right. So thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you have a great Saturday. I will see you again on Wednesday. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel and also your emails because I'll be releasing quite a few videos now that the WordPress Gutenberg update is now out. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and take care.